Hey up, it's Steve from Old Yorkshire Geek, and welcome to Rumble Wednesday. I'm a bit late, because to be honest, there's not a lot of news. It's all The Mandalorian and Ahmed Best, which we are covering today. But we're going to do that first, so here we go. Just 3 news stories today. Right, so here we go. Ahmed Best. As you may know, spoilers, he has a cameo in the latest episode of The Mandalorian. So he says, who was the Jedi who rescued Grogu in The Mandalorian Chapter 20? Answered. This is from Twinfinite. Never heard of him. As usual, links are in the description down below. And don't forget, like and follow, or whatever you do on Rumble. Share the videos, drop a comment, all that stuff. And follow me in me other places as well. I'm also on YouTube and Spotify and Amazon Music Podcasts and Google Podcasts and Facebook, Instagram and Twitter. Links will be in the description down there. Also links for my 2 books, Mercury Rapids and Silent Predator. One's big and thick, one's little and thin. They're on Amazon. Kindle and paperback. Just a bit of fun, right. Right, this is a funny website. I think I've got an ad blocker on, so I suspect there's lots of ads being blocked. There's lots of white spaces. Right, Chapter 20 of The Mandalorian, The Foundling, brought with it not only more backstory as to what happened to Grogu during Order 66, but a voice that might be more familiar than the face it belongs to. Younger Star Wars fans might be more likely to recognise the Jedi who saved Grogu as being Jedi Master Kelleran Beck. Who is Jedi Master Kelleran Beck? Kelleran Beck was a Jedi Master at the Jedi Temple on Coruscant before the rise of the Empire, whose main role was to train the youngling Padawans in their early stages of learning the Force. Played by Ahmed Best, Beck serves as the host of a children's game show on StarWarsKids.com called Star Wars Jedi Temple Challenge. However, this was not his first time playing a role in the galaxy. Best is most well known in Star Wars canon for portraying Jar Jar Binks via voice acting and motion capture throughout the 3 prequel films, but he also appeared for a moment in Attack of the Clones as Ahmed Beck, when Anakin and Obi-Wan searched for Zam Wesell through a bar on Coruscant. He later returned to the franchise as Jedi Master Kelleran Beck to host Star Wars Jedi Temple Challenge, where children compete in teams of 2 to complete challenges, the Jedi Trials. So that's supposed to be related. I don't know this extended Star Wars stuff. How did Kelleran Beck save Grogu during Order 66? By the way, Grogu looked exactly the same during Order 66 as he does now. These whatever species Yoda is, they age really slowly until they get to I don't know. He's got 50 years to become a fully grown Yoda, hasn't he? Because Yoda was teaching young Padawans, teaching Jedi when they were 100 years old. He said that in Empire Strikes Back. Anyway, or what it... what Empire Strikes Back is. Right, while the armourer forges Grogu a piece of Mandalorian armour, it's more of a medallion, pointless, he has a flashback to when the clones turned on the Jedi after Order 66, where we see a multitude of Jedi being taken out before Grogu is placed in an elevator and sent to Beck. After the doors open, Grogu is met by Jedi Master. You have been maimed by Jedi. That's a Robot Chicken reference. Jedi Master Kelleran Beck before they escape on a speeder with a convenient Grogu-sized sidecar. While being chased by clones in gunships, they manage to meet up with a group of Naboo soldiers who give them a ship to escape in. Will Kelleran Beck return in The Mandalorian? While Beck was only shown for a short flashback in Chapter 20 of The Mandalorian, all that was seen of was him and Grogu escaping the planet Coruscant. This leaves plenty unanswered between then and Grogu's first appearance in The Mandalorian, so there will be likely more of Beck yet to come. As of now, that's everything we know about who saved Grogu in Chapter 20 of The Mandalorian. Was that it? Right. Yeah. To be honest, it wasn't a great episode. I only gave it 6 out of 10 in my flash review, which is on my YouTube page. It's on here as well, on Rumble. I only gave it 6 out of 10 because it wasn't the best episode. I suppose if you're a kid, you probably liked it. But if you're an adult, you're probably thinking, this is for kids. It's really simplistic. This is another Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni this time. Just over lunch, thinking, we want this to happen, this to happen, this to happen, and that's it. And we want some monsters. And it was, to be honest, it was stupid. It was stupid. But the best part of it was this part with Ahmed Best. And it actually made a pretty good Jedi. He wielded a couple of lightsabers and did his stuff, and it was pretty good. I did enjoy it. But I don't know why Grogu looks exactly the same at 20. Remember, Order 66 for about 30 years or so before we see him in The Mandalorian. He looks more or less exactly the same at 20 as he does at 50. Anyway, I'm losing my patience with little Grogu. I am, but never mind. Right, so let's move on. So that's who Keller and Beck is. That's who saved Grogu during Order 66. People were saying, it's going to be the librarian woman. Can't remember her name. Her that wears the Snoke clothes. So people saying it's going to be Anakin himself. Yeah, I don't think so. And some people were suggesting maybe even it'll be Mace Windu would be coming in with no hands, I suppose. Or did he just get did he get both hands chopped off or just one? I'm sure it was both. I can't remember. Anyway, let's move on. Doctor Who and another Star Wars reference because it's John Boyega wants to appear in Doctor Who, but there's a catch. There he is in Rise of Palpatine. Doctor Who is preparing for many exciting things in 2023 and beyond. While there's a lot of talk about the upcoming 60th anniversary and David Tennant's return as the Doctor, many are equally excited about Ncuti Gatwa taking over once season 14 starts. This includes John Boyega, who recently name-checked the actor and signalled his interest in appearing in the series with one specific request. John Boyega spoke to Radio Times about the increase in diversity in the television and movie sectors. Boyega confirmed that diversity is improving from where it once was and pointed to Ncuti Gatwa's casting in Doctor Who as an example of that. To be honest, I think we're getting a bit over diversity, but whatever. You're not allowed to speak out, so I'll keep my gob shut. Even though I just didn't. It is opening up. You'll get inspired by things like Ncuti Gatwa playing the Doctor in Doctor Who. That is special to me. The glass ceiling can't limit us. It's exciting to see what comes out of this new stage of filmmaking and entertainment. Ncuti Gatwa will be the first black male to portray the Doctor. Doctor Who continues to make strides in diversity with its lead role having introduced Jodie Whittaker and Jo Martin as the first female Doctors of the franchise in recent years. She wasn't the Doctor. She wasn't. She's claiming to be the first Doctor, but she wasn't. William Hartnell was the first Doctor. The castings broke from tradition in a major way, as the show previously had historically only cast white male Doctors to that point. John Boyega's praise... Oh, hang on, I'm too far. There we go. John Boyega's praise of Ncuti Gatwa's casting led to the inevitable question of whether he'd be up for appearing on Doctor Who. Boyega, perhaps surprisingly, said that he was up for appearing, though he did have some requirements about how he'd like it to go down. Quote, I would love that, but get me in an episode where I'm one of the many Doctors in many timelines so I can just cameo it. Or I'd be the assistant, whatever. I'd show up, but just for one episode. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, you could have him be the Doctor. Have him be the Doctor from, a million years in the future or something like that. Oh, I don't know how long the Doctor's going to live for. Essentially, he could live forever, couldn't he? If he keeps regenerating. Anyway, John Boyega stated that he's up for appearing in Doctor Who, but he's also made his availability clear. He's not trying to appear on the series as a recurring guest star or anything like that. This hypothetical scenario would be a one-off appearance, and then he'll go on with whatever he's doing afterward. While I can't hide my disappointment that Boyega doesn't want to be on Doctor Who long term, I'm still very much into the idea of him appearing in an episode. There are plenty of instances of actors who appeared in one episode of Doctor Who and had a memorable impact on the series. If you don't believe me, then I dare you to watch the Vincent van Gogh episode. Van Gogh? I'm saying that for, I'm not American. Vincent van Gogh episode without crying. I didn't cry. That was an episode I wasn't actually that keen on, to be honest, but never mind. Hopefully Russell T Davies or someone else connected to the show has seen John Boyega's interest in appearing in Doctor Who and is already at work trying to figure out a way to make it work. After all, is there a better way to bring in newcomers with a Disney Plus subscription when the series premieres in the United States than by having a Star Wars star involved? I'll finish the article and then I'll say my piece. If it doesn't work out, there's still plenty of reason to be excited about what's on the horizon for Doctor Who. Neil Patrick Harris will play a villain in the 60th anniversary special, and Catherine Tate is on her way back to the franchise as well. We also have an exciting new companion on the way via actress Millie Gibson. Plus there's already a new spin-off on the way centred around UNIT, so if John Boyega is too busy in the near future, it's no big deal. New episodes of Doctor Who are coming to Disney Plus later this fall, but you'll need an HBO Max subscription to catch up on the episodes that precede it. This is obviously an American article. I would highly recommend catching up on Whittaker's run for those who might have tuned out years ago, as it might come into play in the upcoming 60th anniversary. There we go. I was going to say, John Boyega's been saying a lot of nice things about things that are appearing on Disney Plus lately. He's been saying nice things about Star Wars. Now he's saying nice things about Doctor Who. Are the offers drying up, John? You're just like saying, gives a job, in the words of Bernard Hill's Yozza Hughes from Boys from the Black Stuff. Gives a job. I can do that. Yeah. Anyway, so there you go. So he wants to appear in Doctor Who, but just as a one-off. Yeah. And finally, giant freaking robot. So take it with a pinch of salt, even though it does mention trusted sources, but we'll go. Exclusive Star Trek Dominion War series in development, details revealed. And there's a shot from Deep Space Nine, because, they've already had the Dominion series. It was called Deep Space Nine. Anyway, Star Trek is returning to its most explosive conflict. According to our trusted and proven sources, a Star Trek Dominion War series is in development at Paramount. Assuming it clears all the necessary hurdles, Dominion War will be a limited series, and rather than the war itself, it will focus on the war's aftermath and how it impacts the Alpha Quadrant. No doubt, it's in part the comparative popularity of the third and final season of Star Trek Picard, which is leading to a renewed interest in the Dominion War. The conflict originally opened at the end of Star Trek Deep Space Nine's 5th season. Although we didn't know about the Dominion, I think they were mentioned in the season 2 of Deep Space Nine, but we actually sort of like properly converged with them at the end of season 2 with the episode The Gem Had Air. That was an explosive climax to season 2, that was. Deep Space Nine's 5th season, and raged on until the very end of the series for 2 more seasons. A splinter group from the leaders of the Dominion, the shape-shifting Founders, also known as Changelings, have proven to be the chief antagonists of Picard's current season. We don't know who the heroes of Star Trek Dominion War will be, though. Considering where it falls in Trek's timeline, it opens some intriguing possibilities. In particular, we could finally get a return of Avery Brooks to the franchise as Benjamin Sisko. Brooks, what I mean, he's looking well, but, we're talking like 30 years ago, aren't we? Brooks was Deep Space Nine's lead, and as the captain of the titular station, spearheaded the war against the Dominion. That's what it looked like now, and he's still looking well, because, there's that saying in there. But, he's 30 years older than he was then. But of all the Trek captains of the particular era, Sisko had the biggest question marks looming over him. Plus, he went to be with the Founders, didn't he? They brought him back in the comics, but that's crap, It is. It's a terrible comic. Anyway, and the books as well. They brought him back in the books. While Patrick Stewart and Kate Mulgrew have both appeared in projects set after the events of their respective Trek series, Brooks is so far a no-show. Deep Space Nine ends with his character ascending to be with the godlike prophets, while promising to return one day. He said it could be a year from now, or it could be yesterday, because they live outside of time, do the prophets. It's an interesting choice to name a show Star Trek Dominion War, but to set it after the events of that war, it kind of feels like calling a movie World War II and then starting the action the day after the war ends. On the other hand, if you've seen Deep Space Nine, then you know how the war ends, so for the most part, that story's already been told. And there are some intriguing questions to be answered both on a micro and a macro scale when it comes to the aftermath of Star Trek's Dominion War. For example, Michael Dorn's Worf is made Federation ambassador to the Klingon Empire in Deep Space Nine series finale. And yet there is no mention of this either in Picard, at least not so far, or in 2002 Star Trek Nemesis. Dominion War could potentially tell us what happened to Worf's seemingly short-lived diplomatic appointment. There's also the question of the Romulans. In Star Trek Deep Space Nine's penultimate season, the good guys' side of the Dominion War gets a much-needed shot in the arm, with the Romulans joining the alliance between the Federation and the Klingons. However, as early as Nemesis, this alliance has been dissolved. Star Trek Dominion War could potentially answer the questions of why and how the alliance broke down, and whether or not it had anything to do with the Romulans learning of the events of In the Pale Moonlight. Often cited as a fan favourite, the DS9 episode chronicles Captain Sisko facilitating lies, subterfuge and even murder as part of an elaborate and successful plot to trick the Romulans into the war on the Federation's side, as remembered by Memory Alpha. Oh, there we go. Yeah, there we go. Don't want to read about Klingon sex, do we? What's talking about that? See, they have two willies. They don't have two willies. That's from Star Trek Discovery, which isn't canon, in my opinion. They're different Klingons. Don't get me started. Anyway, Dominion War. So there we go. It's from Giant Freaking Robots, so take it with a pinch of salt. I don't know. We've seen it. We've seen the Dominion War in Deep Space Nine, and it was, pretty well covered. It was, over like over 3 seasons, wasn't it? The Dominion War raged. So I don't see what else they could do unless it's a new Dominion War. Could they come back through the wormhole? Could we see Deep Space Nine again and the wormhole opening up and swarms of Dominion ships, Jem'Hadar ships come pouring through? I don't know. That'd be interesting, I suppose. Or could it be... I don't know. Could it be what's left of the Dominion in the Alpha Quadrant that kick off, that try and form a new Dominion in the Alpha Quadrant? Who knows? Who knows? Anything could happen. Right, we'll leave it there. Right, so that's it. A quickie this time. This is exclusive to Rumble. But not entirely. I've decided it's going to be exclusive to Rumble just for a day. And then tomorrow I'll upload it to YouTube. Get a few more views that way. But for a day, it's going to be exclusive to Rumble. So there you go. Right, so thanks for watching. Wherever you are, look after each other. And until next time, I'll see thee.